Lamborghini Revuelto. From now on.
A Lamborghini that costs more than most houses, screams out 1001 horsepower, and only 63 humans on Earth will ever own one. That is the new Revuelto NA63. Hidden inside this fire-breathing hybrid beast is a secret tribute, a buried number, and an engineering choice nobody saw coming. The badge on the back is not random. It points to a year, a country, and a stubborn tractor builder who once dared to challenge Ferrari. The story behind those two letters and two numbers changes everything about why this car even exists. So what does NA63 actually stand for? Most fans guessed it was a model code or an engine spec. The real answer is much stranger. The letters, NA, stand for North America. The number 63 points to the year 1963. That was the year Ferruccio Lamborghini, a man who built tractors for a living, told his employees that he was done buying Ferraris and was going to build his own supercar instead. The legend goes that Ferruccio drove his Ferrari to the factory in Maranello to complain about a faulty clutch. Enzo Ferrari refused to meet with him. He called Ferruccio a tractor maker who had no place giving advice on race cars. That insult lit a fire. Within months, the first Lamborghini factory opened in a small Italian town called Sant'Agata Bolognese, less than 30 miles from Ferrari's headquarters. 63 years later, the brand decided to thank the country that turned it into a global obsession. North America became Lamborghini's largest market on the planet. American buyers grab roughly 1 out of every 3 Lamborghinis sold worldwide. So the company built exactly 63 special cars, one for every year of its history, and dedicated every single one of them to North American collectors. That detail is why the price tag on this machine starts at nearly $1 million before options. Nobody is paying for the horsepower alone. They are paying for the date stamped quietly on the carbon fiber. But the badge is only half the story. The engine hiding behind those seats is a kind of monster Lamborghini has never built before. Here's the part that confuses gearheads everywhere. How can a hybrid Lamborghini be faster than the pure gas-powered V12s that came before it? The answer lives under the rear glass. The Revuelto NA63 uses a 6.5-liter, naturally aspirated V12, 12 cylinders firing without a turbocharger, just raw air and fuel. That engine alone produces over 800 horsepower. But Lamborghini did not stop there. They bolted 3 electric motors to it. 2 motors sit on the front wheels. 1 motor lives inside the transmission. Together, the entire system produces 1001 horsepower. Most people assume hybrid means slower or heavier. In this car, hybrid means the opposite. The electric motors fill the tiny gap between gear shifts. They push the front wheels for instant torque, then hand off to the V12 once it hits full song. That is why this car can launch from 0 to 60 miles per hour in roughly 2.5 seconds. Even more wild, the Revuelto NA63 can drive on pure electric power for short distances. It can creep through a parking garage in silence, then unleash a V12 howl that sets off car alarms 3 blocks away. It is a polite supercar and a violent supercar living inside the same body. The V12 itself revs to 9,500 rotations per minute. To put that in plain terms, the engine spins faster than a Formula 1 car from 20 years ago. Lamborghini engineers had to redesign the entire chassis to handle the new motors. The carbon fiber tub at the center of this car weighs less than the gas tank of a regular sedan. Every gram saved goes into either power or balance, never comfort. This is not the kind of hybrid that sips fuel at a stoplight. It is the kind that uses electric power as a weapon. But raw power is not what separates this car from a regular Revuelto. The real difference is something most buyers never get to see in person. So what does a buyer actually get for crossing the $1 million line? Why is this car different from a standard Revuelto that another collector can simply order? The answer comes from a quiet department inside Lamborghini's factory called ad personam. That phrase means, according to the person, in Latin. Most car buyers pick from a menu: red paint, black wheels, brown leather. Ad personam is the opposite. The buyer flies to Italy, sits in a private design studio, and works directly with Lamborghini's craftsmen to build a one-of-one car. Every NA63 wears unique exterior paint chosen by the buyer. Some have switched to matte bronze. Others wanted satin black with electric blue accents. Inside, the seats are stitched with the buyer's initials, a star pattern, or even a tribute to their hometown. Carbon fiber appears in places most factories will not consider: under the steering column, behind the air vents, even inside the cup holders. But the detail that makes the NA63 truly rare is the badge itself. Each car carries a small plaque on the dashboard. That plaque shows a unique number, 1 of 63, along with the buyer's name and the date the car was completed. Once the 63rd one rolls off the line, the entire program is over. No more will ever be built. Lamborghini will not break that promise. Buyers also receive something money normally cannot purchase. They get a private tour of the Lamborghini Museum, a one-on-one meeting with the head designer, and a leather-bound book that documents every step of their car's creation. Photos of the chassis being welded. Notes from the engineers who tuned the engine. Even the names of the workers who hand-stitched the seats. By the time the car arrives, the buyer feels less like a customer and more like a co-author of the machine. That kind of scarcity creates a different problem. With only 63 slots and a global pile of wealthy fans, who actually gets the keys? Picture this. A successful business owner walks into a Lamborghini dealership with $1 million in cash and asks to buy a Revuelto NA63. The salesman smiles, says thank you, and politely turns him away. That actually happens. Cars this rare are not sold the way normal cars are. Lamborghini keeps something called a loyalty list. Buyers who already own multiple Lamborghinis, sometimes 5 or 6, sit at the top. People who have purchased earlier limited editions, like the Centenario or the Sean, get first pick. Most of the 63 NA63 units were promised to existing collectors before the public even saw the car. Some buyers were called by Lamborghini themselves and asked if they wanted in. Others had to write personal letters explaining why they deserved a slot. A few collectors flew to Italy on short notice just to make sure their names stayed on the list. That means showing up with cash means almost nothing. Lamborghini wants buyers who treat the brand like a lifelong relationship, not a one-time flex. Some collectors have spent decades building that trust. They store cars in climate-controlled garages, attend factory events, and even have personal phone numbers for executives in Italy. For everyone else, the only way to ever sit inside a NA63 will be through a museum display, a charity auction, or a YouTube video. The chance for a regular wealthy person to walk in and drive one home is essentially zero. So here is the truth nobody outside Lamborghini will admit out loud. The Revuelto NA63 was never really about horsepower. It was never about the hybrid system or the 2.5-second launch. Other brands build faster cars. Other brands chase quicker lap times. What Lamborghini sells is something rarer than speed. It sells scarcity. It sells the idea that out of 8 billion people on this planet, only 63 will ever own this exact machine. The badge, the year, the country, all of it is a love letter wrapped around a piece of mechanical art. Every detail exists to make the next buyer feel chosen. Somewhere in a private collection right now, the keys to one of those 63 cars are being handed over. The new owner will probably never drive it on a real road. It will sit under a soft cover, climbing in value every year, until the world forgets and the car becomes a museum piece. Insurance companies have already valued these cars at nearly double their original sticker price, before a single owner has even taken delivery. That number will only climb. Every time one changes hands in the future, the buyer will pay more for the story than for the steal. One beautiful but quiet promise from a brand that started with a tractor maker and a slammed door in Maranello. The rest of the planet will only ever see this Lamborghini through a windshield, in a blur, gone before the engine sound catches up. Share this with the gearhead in your group chat who thinks they know every Lamborghini ever built. Turbo Theory has more buried secrets coming soon. See you in the next one.